who can play multiple positions from the right, from the left, behind the main striker, and also as a false nine. So it depends on how Chris Hilton will use him in today's game. And per the lineup that we are seeing, it looks like he's playing as a typical number 10. The second striker for our team. The Abedipere of this current Blasters. The Koda Samoa of the 2010 Afcon team in Angola. So I'm just looking at how, Kudus will fare in this Blaster team. Coming from, injury, I don't know how, he will go all out in a game against the Egyptian national team. But if Kudus die, get his day, he will be the key person in the Blaster team. Typical offensive midfielder who can shoot around the 18-yard box at any time. The only thing is sometimes over-elaboration on the ball. That is what I think is a tournament. You need to play as a typical number 10 in today's game. Try to create spaces for the wingers and attackers to take over at all, to score from all angles that you get the opportunities in the Blasters team. So how Kudus will be important to us today will determine how Ghana can manage and pick the maximum win in the game against the Egyptian national team. Don't forget, when you look at the Egyptians up front, they are very tricky. Mohamed Salah will rely on quick counter. So in today's game, someone like Gideon Mensah should work beyond what he did against Cape Verde to get the results against opposition like Mohamed Salah. Especially Dennis Odoye, Mustafa, and all these players in the Egyptian wing position, they can cause a lot of trouble. So our central defensive pair need to be aware of any part from the back to the Egyptian up front. That is one area that could help us in today's game. And of course, Abdul Sade Sabet and Majid Asmeru, who have to run a lot in the midfield, because one pass from Mohamed Elneny could break our defense. So they need to be aware on any pass that will come from the midfield of the Egyptian national team to our central defense. So it's going to be a big game involving Ghana and Egypt. But I think once all our best players are available for selection, Inaki is operating from the right, replacing Joseph Fenty in their first game. Salis replacing Bruce Baba as a typical DM. And of course, Kudus Mohamed replacing Ransford Yeboah, Collins Dorfer. So I think it's a strong lineup. But on the foot of play in the first 20 minutes, that will be where I'll do fair assessment of how this team will perform against the Egyptian.
A strong lineup, and on our bench, I'm not even seeing Ransford Yeboah, Kenos Defa, Joseph Wallacott is on the bench, Lawrence Atizigi, Ali Disedu, Daniel Amate, Nicolas Opoku, Idrisu Baba, Joseph Pentel, Osman Bukari, Elisha Owusu, Ernest Nyama, Andre Ayew, and Jonathan Sowa. But one area that we have to look in our team would also be that left-hand side of our attack, where Jordan Ayew is operating from. I mean, he was the most foul player in that game against Cape Verde, but he didn't send enough balls into the net. Today, Inaki Williams is starting as the main man. How should Jordan link up with him?
Well, Jordan will be dropping deep to defend when you have Mo Salah operating from that angle. And of course, Gideon Mensah, we know, of course, in terms of surging forward, he does very well. But he makes a lot of mistakes at the back in terms of communication, losing of concentration. So Jordan, are you one player who can also drop back to also defend? And a lot of communication will go on between Mohamed Salisu and of course Gideon Mensah. But Inaki Williams, of course, though he also dropped, but he also going to use the spaces very well with his speed to make sure that we put the Egyptians' defense deep down, not to support their method. Of course, they are going to use that kind of interpositional changes. They are going to play their lines very well. But at the end of the day, as Nanedu said, within the first 20 minutes, in as much that we will be studying the Egyptian national team, we should take the ball to them. We should commit them. If we're able to commit them, we should be able to get a goal within the first 20 minutes, and then we will come back and play our normal game. Because the moment we try to force ourselves on them, they can catch us on a break. And mind you, when you have a player like Mo Salah on a counter basis, he's going to punish you. And of course, I had expected Ali Dusedu to play as a left back because he's a right-footed a player. Mo Salah. Remember in Kumasi, Daniel Opare was asked to play that position because there's no way he will not cut in and then go in again. And when the moment he cuts in, he comes to your favorite foot. And Ali Dusedu defensively is very strong. It's difficult to beat Ali Dusedu, but unfortunately he's on the bench. So Gideon Mensah should be aware of the threat of Mo Salah. And if he wants to put a brakes on Mo Salah, he should always make sure that Mo Salah should take the ball to his right foot and also close him down before he takes off. Other than that, we are going to find a problem.
When you look at our team, when you compare the performance of a player like Jordan Ayew in the first game against Cape Verde one thing that I noticed is that Jordan does not run with the ball. Or the ball anytime you have to hold your play.
That is his greatest strength. But that is his greatest strength. But Jordan, he always wants to hold on to the ball.
It is instruction from the technical team because he was on the line where the technical team was.
Yeah.
So he did it for how many minutes before he was substituted? Yeah. So I believe that if the technical team had not given him that instruction,
it might be a clear instruction.
As Ghana is looking for a maximum win in today's game, Egypt drew their first game against Mozambique. So they would also like to get the maximum 3 points against Ghana. And that thing will work in today's game against the Egyptian national team, the game we are playing today in Abiko.
Well, the lineup of the two teams suggests that it's going to be an open game. And for the Egyptians, they are also starting this game with a 4-2-3-1 formation where Mohamed El Shanawi is in post for them. Their back four is Omar Kamal, Ahmed Hegazi, Mohamed Abdul Monem, Mohamed Hamdi. They are the back four. And in the middle, that is where they have Hamdi Fati. Mohamed Onene, who plays for Arsenal, is in there. And in front of them, that is where they have the front three of Mohamed Salah, Umar Mamouche, Nam Ashua, and of course the danger man Mustafa Mohamed. There you see him on your screens with the number 19 jersey. So just one player up front, but Mohamed Salah would be the main man that many will be keeping an eye on. It's going to be an open game, coach. I'm not sure any coach will want to be a bit conservative in this one. But again, let's go back to that Cape Verde game. Their faces in the game. Up until the time that Ghana got the equalizer, when we got that equalizer through Jiku, momentum swung back to us, where we had the momentum, we were going against the Cape Verdeans. Then all of a sudden, Coach Chris Hilton effects changes, and it took the sting out of our tail when the likes of Andre Ayew came in, because it was a bit slow as compared to what the likes of Semenyo and Joseph Pinto were doing.
Believe he was satisfied with the 1-1 draw at that time.
But you can't be satisfied with the 1-1 draw.
Because pulling out Majid Ashimiru as an offensive player and bringing a defensive Salisu tells you that what does the coach mean? Meaning he doesn't want to go again, he wants to block the midfield. Forgetting that one player who was putting pressure on them, committing them, was Joseph Pinto. And he was doing so well because they were not surging forward. The moment he took him out, what really happened? Antoine Semenyo was all over them because of the bulky nature of his structure and how he was committing them, bullying them. So they were not transiting very well. So they had to use the wide areas, and they have to get us off guard. And at the end of the day, we gave them the confidence to come at us because we decided to be defensive minded instead of surging for it. Majid Ashimiru was the one who was trying to run at them, commit them with the ball most often. And anytime he gets the ball, you see the runs from Joseph Pinto. Jordan Ayew was not running though, but I think that he was just committing free kicks for Ghana, and at the end of the day, the final delivery was very poor. So I believe that this lessons has been learned, and I'm sure the coach, he has said what media guys have said, he has said what everybody have talked about, and I'm sure that he himself have sat down and realized that this is something that he has to do. This is something that he has to perform. And for him, I'm sure he has spoken to the players, and the players themselves are aware of what is at stake, and I'm sure that they should be able to deliver. So
on the bench of the Egyptians, there's one Mohamed Sobi as well. Mohamed Abdul Gabar is also on the bench. Mohamed Hani Ali Gabar is also on the bench for them. Ahmed Fatou, Zizo, Mustafa Fati, Mohamed Trezeguet is on the bench for them. Mohamed Hamada, Marwan Atiya, Ahmed Hassan, and Karaba, who plays for Al Ali, also in there. Now, I'm looking at the battle that could ensue in this game. That is the battle between Inaki Williams and Ahmed Hegazi. And if we are to go by how Inaki Williams is deployed at Atletico Madrid, where he runs onto the ball, it could be a worry for Hegazi because he's not the quickest of defenders. But in this case, we do not play that way. We don't usually send the balls for Inaki to run onto them.
Yeah, you know, when you look at the system that we are playing today, it looks like Inaki rather will operate from the right side with Semenyo as a typical number 9. So if someone will have to move around the 18-yard box with Ahmed Hegazi, it's going to be more of Antoine Semenyo much more than Inaki Williams. So I think Semenyo will have to work hard on Ahmed Hegazi one-on-one situation, he doesn't have that speed.
Yeah, he
challenge,
doesn't have the speed.
Antoine Semenyo, but in terms of the area ability and 1v1 situation, that is the strength of Ahmed Hegazi, right from the decent league, moving to English Premier League, and of course moving to the Saudi Arabia league. So that is the strength of Ahmed Hegazi. So once Semenyo, Jordan, Kudus Mohammed, and of course Enak Williams put a lot of pressure on the Egyptian defense, I'm sure by the end of the 45 minutes we could get one goal in the game.
Coach, we are in an era where your defensive outlets, that is the 2 and 3, are usually used as an attacking threat. This is the case where at our right-hand side we are almost non-existent because Dennis Odoi doesn't surge forward and it limits our play.
You remember in our last game before we played Namibia in Kumasi?
Yeah.
The game against Comoros, you saw how he was being used, or how he was used. And I think that defensively he's not bad, but offensively he's also very good. But it all depends on how they will communicate at the back, how they will support each other at the back. But my concern is about Richie Dufori. My concern is seriously about Richie Dufori.
Why?
Why? Because in as much that he made some 3 brilliant saves in the game against Cape Verde, look at the goals that he conceded. And go and check Ofori in the blaster goal post and the kind of goals that he concedes. For me, Ofori imposed for me. He looks heavy for me in terms of his reflexes. I'm not seeing it. And you see these Egyptians, the moment they use the wide areas, I mean, Mo Salah is one player who doesn't even go with power. He always love to place. He always love to bend the ball. He always want to put a spin on the ball when he want to score goals. That is why I found Ofori to be able to open up his eyes very well and try to be. And that is where they are going to run through. And I'm sure that Mohamed Salisu or Juku is going to be on Mohamed. I mean, the chap with the 90 shirt that we just saw his picture. They are a very good side. In as much that the Egyptians are a very good side, we are hoping and believing that our players will come to party. They will give us what we know them to be. They will give us what we've seen them done with their various clubs. Because seriously, I see our players with a lot of quality in them. And when they want to play, they play. If your Ghanaian team is playing, you really all defending, all attacking, all possessing, you could clearly see that this is Ghana football. And this is what we expect from them today. In as much that we are going to be defending or push forward for goals, we should also be have it at the back of our mind that the Egyptians can go on a counter basis. And Mo Salah is one player who does it very well.
Okay.
He does it very well. On a counter basis, if you know him at Liverpool, 1 against 2, 1 against 3, he uses his pace to outwit them. And anytime he's running, he also watches the goalkeeper. That is why I also expect Ofori to watch them when they are running into spaces without the ball.
Nanedo, one area that was like an Achilles heel for us was the centre-back partnership between Jiku and Salisu. Salisu looked a bit rusty with his awareness and all that, and it cost us, especially with the second goal where he made a mistake. He's starting again after being out for several months with injury. He came back for AS Monaco. He's not played that much game. He played the first game for us against Cape Verde. It didn't go too well. Today he's in. He's a top player. Some coaches would drop such a player and bring in another one, but it seems Chris Hughton has confidence in Salisu.
You know, Sarah, in this modern game, most of these coaches prefers one left-footed central defender among their 2 central defenders that they bring out for a particular game. And among our central defenders we took for this particular tournament, he's the only left-footed central defender in the game. And I think he's a very good passer of the ball, especially with the left foot. So most of these coaches prefer using a left-footed player in the left-sided of the central defense. So I think his and the good partnership didn't work that much in our first game against Cape Verde. That is why individually we saw Jiku becoming one of the best defenders and one of the best players on the day. But I think today should be Salisu's day. A game against Egypt, that is games that players would like to come out and make sure they show what they can do for a football team or a national team side. So today should be Mohamed Salisu and Jiku's day.
Coach, one of our best players against Cape Verde, despite the defeat, was Majid Ashimero. We all called for his inclusion. We saw what he did. He scored a goal that was disallowed. Today he has an opportunity of going against an even better midfield pair of Mohamed El Nene and Hamdi Fati.
Well, anytime a player goes to play a team that has got a very good midfield, you also look at the kind of quality that is surrounded around him.
Yeah.
Looking at Kudus, good at Salisu, they are all very good passers of the ball. And these are players that, when they have possession, unless you foul them, especially Salisu, Ahmed. And for me, I think that they need to communicate. They don't need to waste time on the ball, because the Egyptians are going to press.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, when they get the ball, they will be teasing us for us to open up, for them to use those long ball for either Mohamed, Mo Salah, or probably Mustafa Mohamed. And I think that our midfield should be able to control the midfield of the Egyptians, make sure that we take control of the midfield. At the end of the day, Salisu is a very good passer of the ball. He can send a long ball to Williams. Majid Ashmeru will definitely come for the balls and turn. He's a very good dribbler. He doesn't bring ball back. And that is why we expect Kudus within the final third. Anytime he gets the ball, he should try shots. They should try. Because the Egyptian goalkeeper is a very good goalkeeper.
El Shanawi.
He is a very good goalkeeper. But tall goalkeepers, if you want to punish them, you always need to get the ball on the turf. And I believe that if you're able to do it, most of Kudus' goals has been on the turf with his club side. We've seen it. And even the national team. So I believe that he should be able to release the ball on time and also watch the goalkeeper's movement, and then also make sure that he send the ball and communicate for Antoine Semenyo to go in for the second balls. We should be able to handle this Egyptian national team if only our boys stick to tactical discipline that maybe probably they've been told to do.
Now then, we'll be crossing over shortly for the first half of the game, but in general, what should be the approach in terms of the intensity, in terms of how we should start this one? Because against Cape Verde, it was practically slow. I
think we should play our normal game, but you know.
What is the normal game?
Agrobo.
That is a big question for Christian. But you know, try to put a little bit pressure on them in the first 20 minutes of the game, because you have to show some signs that we really want to win today's game.
Because from all that I'm seeing, Egypt will just come out and play for the win. They don't have any other option, because almost a draw.
Yes.
And almost a win.
Just like us, I think, you know, Kudus should come into the party today and make the difference for the Blasters in the game against Egypt. So I take them, you know, at least in the first half, we will not lose the first half. Maybe in the second half, we'll try to manage and get at least one goal, and we may carry the day. So I don't see the Blasters of Ghana losing today's game against the Egyptian national team.
Because sometimes in the heat of Opesa will impress it, you want to put in your all, you are vociferous, you want to come out and show urgency. But what should be the approach against this Egyptian team?
They should be very disciplined at the back. They should communicate very well and make sure that they play with their hearts out. Jordan said something that, look, it's not a matter of they are not committed. It is something that put food on their table.
Okay.
And they believe that they are committed. And today is the day that they want to prove that they are committed to the national team. That's what we expect them to see. But I pray, you know, Kudus is coming out of injury.
Yeah.
There has been a lot of talks about his injury. And this is the time he's going to play. I believe that the technical team and the handlers have psyched him very well.
For this one?
For this particular game. He's the star boy of West Ham. He's the star boy of the national team. I believe they've psyched him very well. Because at the end of the day, a player coming out of injury to play such games. This is a crucial game. A crucial game.
Yeah.
He would love to go all out. But hey, he's a human being. At the back of his mind, what is he thinking? Or what will he be thinking? I'm just coming out of injury. Am I going to go all out and make sure that I'll be safe or not? But I believe that he's a professional and he knows what he's about. If Kudus should stand firm and deliver, the boys are going to go well. And I'm sure that Jordan, as an experienced as he is, he's going to communicate with them. And I'm sure before they get onto the pitch, they will have spoken to each other. Of course, the day he will be on the bench, and I'm sure from that angle, he will be sending messages, he will be shouting at them, and I'm sure Ghanaians should wait for a good game.
Okay. Now, in tournament like this, Nanedu, you have to take advantage of set pieces that come. Ghana, we've already scored from one those set pieces. That was a corner kick where Jiku headed in. You're going to have a few against Egypt. We have to take advantage of that.
It's very important, but I think
the delivery has not been
in recent times, you know, Jordan has been our first choice in terms of set pieces, and I think as a forward and a striker, you need to be around the 18-yard box for someone to take over those duties in the team.
Okay, so it's that time that we have to cross over for that big game. Send your mechanic and just pick your remote, your Star Times remote, and just dial *246 246. Odailia Edobe called the Star Times Premium channel. That is where the game will be played or will be showed there. And all you have to do is just upgrade your package to the Mega Bouquet there. Call any of the numbers on your screens and they will assist you in doing that. 0302739988 or 0242437888. You can also WhatsApp them